I'm Leonard Nimoy. Join me for In Search of
an Argument.
Welcome to In Search of an Argument. This is take two, but you don't know that because you're just seeing the high quality finished product that we always create for you. Welcome. This is our Oscars preview episode, and I have a question for everybody. I'm John Heinz. I'm your host today because I didn't watch anything. So I'm just going to ask questions. My first question, Jim, this is for you. Do the members of the Academy voting on these movies not actually watch everything?
Well, that is a good question. And the answer is probably yes. But this year, the Academy actually introduced a new rule, which requires that people who vote certify that they have watched every nominee in any category that they vote on. So it's an honor system, but at least they are required. The idea is hopefully to get them either to not vote in categories where they haven't watched all the nominees, or to make an extra effort to watch all the nominees. Obviously, it's not, it's an honor system, but they are aware of the issue.
Do they care if they watch it on their iPhone or if they watch it in the theater?
Oh, that's a good question.
Well, I think most, from my understanding, although I don't have any intimate knowledge of this, most voting members of the Academy watch screeners at home.
Right.
How many voters are there?
I think the Academy is about 4,000 members.
Whoa, and how do you get to be a member? Can you be a member?
No. You have to be in the industry, you have to be nominated, and you have to be accepted.
Is your son considered in the industry?
So, for example, the voting size of the Academy is significantly smaller than, say, the Screen Actors Guild.
So are Willie or Alex in it?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Count?
So it's performers, or like what's the
No, it's anybody in the industry, but
okay.
You have to have reached a certain level of professional attainment in films to be accepted. There are people, I don't know, I don't have a list of the membership roles, but there are people who are quite distinguished who are not members of the Academy, it is my understanding.
And do directors get to vote on actors and vice versa? Like everyone votes for everything?
The nominations work this way. Directors only vote nominations for director and best picture. Actors only vote for the acting category and best picture. Cinematographers only vote for the cinematography category and best picture. Certain categories, such as the shorts, the documentary feature, the international film, they have special panels or select groups that make those nominations.
So other than that last group that you just mentioned, it's really a voting of their peers.
Yeah.
For the nominations.
I mean, the people who are on these panels are members of the Academy, I understand, but I don't know how those panels are selected.
And you say they have to be voted in to be on the... So
you have to be offered a membership by the Academy. They come to you and say, we'd like you to be a member of the Academy.
Oh, okay. So they don't have to run a campaign or anything. Vote for me.
No. They do sometimes to win an Oscar, but not to be a member of the Academy.
Okay.
So that's how Will Smith, when he got banned for 10 years, he was already accepted into the Academy, and now he's out of it for 10 years?
I don't know that he's a member of the Academy. He is banned from attending the ceremony. Everybody who wins an award is not necessarily, or nominated, is not necessarily a member of the Academy. You don't have to be a member of the Academy to be nominated. However, I believe that if you win an Oscar, you are automatically invited to join the Academy.
That makes sense.
Just by default of winning.
Because
your peers recognize.
They have also, in recent years, made a concerted effort to broaden the demographic mix of the Academy to make sure to invite more women, more people of color, and more younger people into the Academy. Dolores Hart, I think you may have heard this story before. Dolores Hart was an actress in the late 50s, early 60s. She's most famous perhaps for her role in the 1960 film Where the Boys Are.
Oh, yeah.
She apparently once went out with Elvis Presley, but about 5 years into her acting career, she quit and became a nun.
Oh.
And she's, as far as I know, I think she's still alive, and she's a nun. But before she quit her acting career, she was inducted into the Academy, and at least up until a few years ago, she was still a voting member of the Academy.
That's
and
cool.
she would
that's
vote.
very cool. Okay.
But I guess it's cool. Although there's been, I don't know what the exact status of it. There's been some effort. There was some discussion, at least, about taking people who are members of the Academy but are no longer active in the industry, and not taking away their membership, but not allowing them to vote anymore. I don't know if that was actually ever done, but
I would love to know. I mean, I don't really want to know bad enough that I'm going to do any research, and I would never look at a list of 4,000 people. But
you'd like someone else to do the research and tell you the answers.
But I kind of feel like just because you're not in the industry anymore shouldn't preclude you from voting. It doesn't mean you don't know what quality, just because you decided to have a more meaningful life than Hollywood.
Well, but then it might as well be the People's Choice Awards.
Okay.
Well, I don't think there's like a ton of people. I mean, it's not a very big group of people. It's not like there's like 50% of them are no longer active in the industry. And then you get into the question of what means to be active. Like, for example, Jack Nicholson hasn't made a movie in several years. Should he be, I don't even know if he's a member of the Academy, but should he be kicked out from voting?
Right.
You know?
Do they ever do like who's that guy who has just totally gone off the rails?
Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson.
Not him.
The guy from Friends who got really fat and died?
No, not that guy. Anyway, just somebody who's clearly lost their marbles. Busey, Gary Busey.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if he's a member of the Academy or not. He may never have been a member of the Academy.
If he were, it seems like maybe he'd be a legit one to take off.
Well, clearly, as the Will Smith case, as Beth pointed out, that you can have behavior that would, I'm sure, for example, Harvey Weinstein, if he was a member of the Academy, has had that revoked by now, just to use a very extreme example. I don't know if he was, but I mean, and I think the Academy does not publish, as far as I know, I don't believe they publish who the membership is.
That was going to be my question. Is there a public facing?
As far as I know, there's no public list of who the members are.
Yeah, because then you'd get
bribes.
Campaign. Yeah, you'd campaign.
Oh, well, there's a lot of campaigning, and I'm sure people in the industry, there are people in the industry whose job it is to mount Academy Award campaigns. I'm sure they have a pretty good idea who's in the Academy and who's not. Because those people get screeners, they get bombarded with invitations to go to lunches and so forth and so on. And
do they get swag bags?
I would not be surprised.
And is there a dress code for the Academy Awards? So
yes, fabulous. That's why it's called the Gay Super Bowl.
Yeah, but if you're trying to increase minorities and age people, like if I got invited and I showed up in my best jeans and
I've never seen anyone in jeans at the Academy Awards.
So would they kick you out is what I'm wondering.
I think by the time that you're at that level, you probably won't be wearing your same jeans.
If you really had a chance to go to the Academy Awards, would you go in your jeans?
Maybe to get on the front page People magazine, to get a little extra attention.
Woman who'll never be invited back.
Look who showed up at the Academy and they let her in. And now everybody's wearing jeans to the Academy Awards.
Okay.
Which would take away the whole reason why some of us watch it, is to see the clothes.
All right. Crazy gowns.
Yeah. I mean, I think, again, there are, I mean, I'm sure you guys know this, but just in case anybody doesn't, there are fashion designers who will lend their clothes to people just to get them to wear them to the Academy Awards.
And the jewelry, too.
I mean, for the advertising value. I mean, you have millions of people watching.
Because they always say, who are you wearing?
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, let's dive in. So let's start with an easy one. Let's start with what was the best thing of the year that you guys saw that fits into one of these that you wouldn't have, maybe even the best thing of the year or the best thing of the year that you wouldn't have watched but for preparing for this episode?
Well, that's a good question. I probably would have watched none of them, honestly.
Ooh,
So
wow.
that was the best one.
I would have watched Sentimental Value because that's my kind of movie. I actually don't mind a little bit of horror. I just was fascinated this year. So many of the movies that were nominated for Best Picture are so violent and graphic. And I feel like that happened last year too with The Substance, or maybe that wasn't a Best Picture. Maybe that was just a Best Actress. But what is it? It made me think, what is it that as viewers now or movie makers, you have to do something with a lot of gore or shock value to get rated as a good movie or something? I don't know. It was interesting to me that what's the one that I was so surprised? Oh, I guess it's not a Best Picture. It's the actress. Weapons. I was like, what in the hell is this movie that I'm watching? I had no idea what I was getting into. Ditto with Sinners. I had zero clue.
What's a one-sentence summary of Weapons? I haven't even heard of that one.
Horror. It's a horror movie.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I kind of liked it, but it was fucked up. Am I allowed to say that? Sorry.
Yeah, we have to have an E now. So
Sorry.
my kids can't listen to this episode, but it's fine. No, it's
But
fine.
John's
Free speech,
mother
man.
won't like it.
Free speech. No. Nope.
I never would have watched oh, sorry, Peggy. You
No, I was
finished.
just going to say about what Beth comment about Begonia too. She just watched that recently and said on our little chat what a strange movie. So I watched it yesterday.
No idea. Okay, what did you think?
It was so crazy. Oh man, it was so nuts, but I kind of liked it.
It got me thinking about it more and more, and I was like, do I have to watch it again to figure out like all the stuff that Teddy said when I thought Teddy was crazy and he wasn't? Or I mean, I don't even know. Is it all a dream? It was just and I don't understand why he wasn't nominated.
Yeah,
as well,
he was really good.
He's such a good actor, Jesse Plemons, but that movie was bonkers. I couldn't even I always wait till the next morning to text you guys because I know I stay up later than all of you. But I was just like, I don't even know what words to put down about this movie. But I saw it, so I got everything done on Best Picture except Marty Supreme, and that was my own personal boycott.
That's good. That's impressive.
You're up later than me, Beth, but I won't disagree with anything else.
Why was that your own personal boycott?
Because from the first review, even before Jim saw it, the character had no redeeming value. I was like, it's a long movie and I don't care. So he's a great actor. I'll give him that. But even I saw a little bit of the Dylan movie and I was like, this is not a likable character. So let me go find some of these lesser movies and watch them than the one that's like gangbusters. Oh, another great Timothée Chalamet movie, blah, blah, blah. So I just boycotted it myself, and I decided he doesn't need to win. So there's no reason for me to waste my time watching it.
For what it's worth, I checked the betting markets this morning, and Michael Jordan is now the favorite in the betting markets to win Best Actor. So we'll see what happens.
He's on my list. He's on my ballot for winner.
Me too. Me too.
You guys might be right. You guys might be right. I wouldn't. I still pick Chalamet, but I wouldn't be surprised if I'm wrong about that one.
Well, what betting markets?
I thought he should have won last year for A Complete Unknown. I think he's a very good actor. This was not a very good movie. I thought A Complete Unknown was a much better movie. I mean, he's a good actor, and I suppose he will win at some point, hopefully.
So I didn't watch it, but I also heard it was, what's the word? Did somebody say grotesque or not violent? So again, I didn't watch it, so I can't comment, but I thought, oh, interesting. Another nominee that has got some gross stuff in it. I don't know what that means because I didn't see it, but.
Yeah.
So one battle after another is supposed to win in the betting markets for Best Director and Best Film. Is that right, Jim?
Sorry, one battle after another is the favorite to win Best Director, it would be a huge upset if Paul Thomas Anderson does not win as Best Director.
Really?
But it is the favorite of Best Picture, but I think there is a chance that Sinners could pull the upset. I think it wouldn't be a shock if Sinners pulled the upset.
So I
It's
did
really a
split.
two-horse race. If anything else besides those two won, it would be a huge upset.
But didn't you
So I
think
did a s-
Frankenstein's going to win a lot? Sorry, Beth.
Okay, that's good.
I personally think Frankenstein will win at least 3 awards: makeup, production design, and costume design.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And
Yeah,
it
you gotta get
potentially
those
could
names
win
to-
some other of the technical awards.
So Jim, is it often the case, because I didn't read all the other stuff you sent us, is it often the case that Best Picture and Best Director are the same?
Historically, it was, at least from the 1950s onward, it was almost a lock
Okay.
that Best Picture and Best Director went together. Like from between 1953 and between 1957 and 1997, they differed only 3 or 4 times.
Oh,
Well, I
Okay.
have
But
them
then-
different this year.
There was a period when that happened sort of frequently, from starting in 1998 when Spielberg won Best Director for Saving Private Ryan and Shakespeare in Love won Best Picture. But it has seemed to have stabilized so that right now, since 2009, and the reason 2009 is significant in Oscar history is that's when they expanded the number of Best Picture nominees from the traditional 5.
Yeah, I hate that.
And and that is when they also introduced for Best Picture ranked choice voting.
That's right.
Oh,
We talked about this.
So that you vote not just for who you think is Best Picture, but you rank them
got it.
so that you now have the possibility that something that can sneak in there. For example, who knows? Because, of course, they never actually released the ballot count or anything. That would be interesting if they ever did. But the year, a pretty fair upset, the year that Spotlight won Best Picture. And some speculation is that although The Revenant, which was the favorite, may have gotten more number 1 votes, that Spotlight was the kind of film that everybody kind of liked, at least. And even if it wasn't people's number 1 choice, it maybe was everybody's number 2 choice. There was some speculation last year that Conclave might be a similar type movie, but as it turned out, it was not, or at least it wasn't sufficiently popular that it beat out Anora. So, we'll see. But
Jim,
the
transition
other
to you.
side of that is, I think Spotlight's a terrific movie. I'm glad it won. But the other side of that is a few years later, a movie that was another surprise winner that people weren't so happy about was Green Book winning. Again, a bit of an upset. That may have something to do with the older skewing of the voting membership of the Academy. But yeah, a lot of people were upset about that one.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that being upset about that. Jim, what's your takeaway? Just the top line. I'm sorry, I don't want to lose the thread of the top line recommendations.
What top line meaning what?
Well, so the
All
thing
categories?
the best thing of the year in your opinion, period.
I thought there were 4 movies that were clearly the best 4 movies of the year. And curiously enough, they all start with the letter S. That's just weird. It worked out that way.
Cosmic.
2 were Sorry Baby, which won the Independent Film Award as Best Picture of the Year, which is an excellent movie and hasn't been seen by enough people. The other was Springsteen, which very good movie, which just didn't have the right kind of whatever to catch on. The third, I would put Sentimental Value, which I would personally probably vote number 1, although I think if you pick between these 4 movies, you're really at that point, making very marginal choices. And the fourth was Sinners. I'm not a particular horror fan. I'm not at all a horror fan, but Sinners is a very clever, smart, and very adept use of the vampire or zombie or whatever you want to call it tropes to deal with a very serious subject, and in a way that it doesn't feel like you're being lectured at, but being entertained. And in a way, Jordan Peele with his films has been essentially trying to do the same sort of thing, and I think this has worked better than any of the Jordan Peele films have worked. So of the movie that has a chance to win, I think Sinners is a better choice than One Battle After Another. I still think One Battle After Another is probably going to win, but Sinners I think has a reasonable shot, and frankly I thought it was a significantly better film than One Battle After Another. I still personally would vote for Sentimental Value, because to me that was there's a degree. I think there's a degree of difficulty for the kind of film Sentimental Value is, and how skillfully they pull that off.
Okay. But Shelly, let's hear from you. Best movies of the year.
I couldn't say that Sinners is that Sentimental Value is clearly head and shoulders above Sinners or anything like that.
I only saw 2 of the best pictures. One was F1 and the other one was Train Dreams. And I like them both. So 2 out of the 10 that I've watched, I liked them for very different reasons. I liked F1. I'm not a Formula One person.
Race fan.
But there are hundreds of millions of them out there. And I don't know. I just liked it. I found it entertaining. It was a bit long. I felt it was a little long. I thought the cinematography and the way that they captured stuff was really cool, and the stress and the anxiety. I thought that was pretty good. Train Dreams, I just stumbled upon before I saw F1. I liked it. It was good. Also, I have a hard time with movies and everything that we're doing on today's podcast, because if I go into something like this with an entertainment mindset, I'm like, oh, this is good. It's not stellar, I might not highly recommend it, but if somebody asked me, oh, what have you watched lately? I would share it, not hide it, not be embarrassed. But I would say, yeah, it's not the best thing I've ever watched, or it is the best thing, or speak, from the rooftops and recommend it to people if I felt that way about it. But I go into movies and theater and all kinds of things with that kind of mindset. Like, I'm paying just to be entertained and see what kind of creativity others have that can engage my brain in a different way. So I'm not a harsh critic. So in that respect, but the one thing that I did do this year that I don't ever do, and because I also stumbled upon it, was watch the animated short. Mm-hmm. I never have done that, and I stumbled upon Retirement Plans. Mm-hmm. And it was sad because it's the reality of kind of where I am in my life, and definitely in Ian's life since he retires in 2 weeks. But I thought it was well done, and the actor's voice is just perfect. When he talks, I forget the actor's name. I'm sure, Jim, you know.
Yeah, we texted about that one, and I thought it was a tearjerker too. I really liked it. Yeah. It was good.
This is the 10th year that I've watched all of the shorts, animated, documentary, and live action in the theaters. I really enjoy it, especially if you're looking for entertainment. I think that a lot of them are quite entertaining. And here's the thing. If you go in and you're seeing this program of shorts and you don't like the one that's on, it'll be over in a few minutes and there'll be another one.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's exactly.
A beauty. They're not all great by any stretch of the imagination, but a lot of them are quite good. Beth, you saw some of the shorts this year, didn't you?
I did the same thing. I went to that theater you found for me in Rhinebeck and saw the animated shorts. And was glad, it was nice because it was all packaged. It was just the first one. I was kind of like, oh God, what am I in for? The Three Sisters. And then it got better. But you're right. It was like a nice, and I had done it once before at the AFI when I lived in Silver Spring. But it was nice to just be able, and I was going to go back and see the other ones, but then we got a snowstorm, so I couldn't get up there. But I agree with you, Shelly. I haven't been going to the movies as much, and part of it is I'm cheap and I don't feel like paying, $16 for something that is going to be eh. And then by the time I go upstairs at night to watch a little TV, I'm like, do I really have a 2 hour and 20-minute commitment ahead of me? And I know I can pause it and watch it the next day, but I like to just get it done. So I had been avoiding a bunch of these and also realizing that Jim too heavily influences my watching. So if Jim votes something down, I don't consider it. I'm like, oh, well, Jim's already critiqued it, so I'm not going to worry about it. So then when I went and did my homework for this, I was like, oh, shit, I shouldn't have listened to Jim. I kind of like this one.
Generally good advice.
A lesson learned to take Jim's movie criticism with a grain of salt. And maybe
you watched all of the Best Picture nominees except Marty Supreme, right?
Yes.
That's impressive.
So did I. Can I have an add-on? Thank you.
Okay,
yes.
great.
Girl,
so what did you guys like the best?
Well, I already said I liked Sentimental Value very much because that's my cup of tea. I'm a little bit like Shelly. I mean, I can recognize decent acting but I'm not adept at cinematography and editing and I mean basics. But I like Jim before you guys got on, he asked me because I sent a picture of my ballot, and he said, "Did you pick these because you think they'll win? You want them to win?" And I said it's a little bit of a combo of I either picked it, for example, like the animated short and the other short. I only saw one in each category, so I picked those. I didn't go by what people are saying. Because I saw it, I picked it. Or if I liked it, I picked it. It's about being entertained, like Shelly said. Certain things, like F1, I was entertained. I thought Brad Pitt was ridiculous. And there's like certain things like when he's so freaking old. It's like so unrealistic.
They did play up to that though. They did play.
Yeah, but they had him being like 30, not 62 or whatever. Yeah. It's like so dumb. Yeah. So I had a hard time accepting that. But then just to watch it, and like I said in my text, it totally fit the bill. We watched it on Christmas with a 25-year-old, a 27-year-old, a 30-year-old, and a 57-year-old who all love F1. So, and then I was entertained. I was like, this is fine. This is exactly what we could agree to watch. So it's satisfies the masses, and there's something to be said about that. And I thought I'm sure that was great editing. And in fact, I may have picked that. I'm not sure. I can't remember.
I picked that.
Beth, what did you like the most?
Well, so I'm similar to Peg, and that's why I was asking some of the questions about, are we voting for who we want to win or who we think is going to win? And I aired on who I want to win. So I want Sinners to win Best Picture. As Jim said earlier, it's so creative and tells several different stories in a way that's not all up in your face. And I don't mind the all up in your face way either, but you just got a much broader audience, I think, because you have people who went in there because it's a zombie movie. So I really like that. And I want Michael Jordan to win, B. Jordan. I struggled, like Hamnet, everyone I heard was like, oh, it's so depressing. I'm like, obviously it's depressing. A kid dies. Like, that's not going to be uplifting. But I was mesmerized from the moment it started. Jessie Buckley just captures your attention in a way I wasn't expecting. So I totally saw why she's been nominated for everything. And as I said on our text thread, watching afterwards the interview with the cast and the director, I then put Chloe down for winning Best Director because the sense of community and family she created, or at least this is what it looked like in the post-film interviews. I mean, maybe that was all fake too, but like the sense of joy they seem to have on that set and making sure the kids were having a good time and how they work through these really difficult scenes and just her vision. I haven't read the book, but I just was like, she put me into that world. She did exactly like she transported me. I almost felt like I could smell the mud. It just, so I think she's not as like up in your face director as some of the others, but I love the movie. I love Jessie Buckley, and I think she deserves to win, even though I have a little arrow next to Ryan Coogler as my sort of second choice tie nomination. And part of this too is just as Jim said earlier of trying to expand the Academy so we have more voices. I really love it when any person who's not a white man wins.
So on that note, Chloe Zhao is one of 2 women in history who has won the Best Director award. She won for the movie Nomadland, and that came out in 2020, which unfortunately was the pandemic year. So that may have been the least seen Best Picture movie in history. There has never been an African American who has won the Best Director award.
I saw Nomadland in the theater in the middle of the day with my mom wearing a mask. Okay.
Beth, that additional video you're talking about the film, was that like after the credits?
Yeah.
So it was like a side thing.
But it was in the theater. Yeah. You saw it in the theater. It wasn't like on YouTube at home.
No, I saw it at home. And it was like, they reduced the screen when they're rolling through the credits. And then next to it was like, oh, if you want to see more, click this. So I was like, sure. And it was great. It was like, I want to go be on a movie with Chloe Zhao.
Because it makes me think about how much now my enjoyment of a film is tied to kind of the larger cultural reality. Like, I listen to John Mellencamp and I have to Google, I'm like, has he been canceled? And the fact that I'm going out there and doing that with everybody is like, I got to think everybody's doing it if I'm doing it, right? I'm not.
Do you think about when you're going to go to a movie and let's say it's not like at the Oscar level yet, or do you think I'm going to go because I want to see Brad Pitt in it, or I'm going to go because I'm interested in that storyline? Like what is your initial, how do you decide to go to that movie versus another movie?
Jim. I listen to Jim. This is my thing is I need curation. I can't handle it. What my number one go-to is human curation. So I rely upon my friends. My number 2 curation is specific theaters in Chicago. I go to the Gene Siskel Film Center, or I go to the Landmark because I'm hoping they're curating the crap out. Because if I just go to the AMC, it's all there. But I don't know how else to do it. I'm curious how you all do it.
Yeah, I don't see that many movies in the theater anymore. Some of my neighbors are into movies, so I've been seeing more kind of mainstream. Like that's how I saw Song Sung Blue because a couple neighbors were going. Turned out I loved it, as you know from the text thread. We saw that Housemaid, I think it was called. We read the book in book club. So again, like I probably wouldn't have seen it on my own, like, oh, let me go to a movie theater and watch this, but I really enjoyed it. And then we went out to dinner afterwards. So for me, it's like, I'm not going to go sit in a theater by myself. I'd rather go for a hike. But if my neighbors are saying, let's go see this, or, sometimes I'll take the kids on spring break or something. But yeah, I've really cut down on my going to a movie theater to see a movie things. So,
and they make it to the streaming. They make it to the other options so quickly, fast. Yeah. Peggy and Jim, how do you make the decision when you're going to go see a film?
Jim sees everything.
You mean in the theater or in general?
Yeah. In general, but I was thinking in the theater. But I mean, I didn't. Some of these I could have watched on and paid $14.99 or whatever, but I didn't.
Yeah. I don't now because of my marriage. I would have 15 years ago paid $14.99 to see a Best Picture.
You guys, it's not $14.99 now. Going to a movie is like $50.
Here it's still 10.
With parking, popcorn, beer, or whiskey, and a hamburger, and driving.
Yeah, we don't have to pay to park, and
so it's like $50 a movie.
Okay, I'm sure it's crazy.
But don't get popcorn and don't drive. That will save some money.
Do you
very
go for the storyline or the actors in it? I guess
both. I'm also very influenced by what other people tell me. If they say it was amazing, if I trust that person, that I will be like, oh, I better go see that. Or I just saw an ad for a movie, and I don't really watch everything I watch on TV is either streaming or I still have a TiVo. So I really don't see advertisements that much anymore, commercials.
So you don't see the trailers.
So I don't see a lot of trailers, but and the rare chance that I do, and I'm trying to think, I just saw an ad for a movie that I was like, oh, I might like that one.
I saw Hamnet's trailer, and I was like, oh, I'll go see that before I'd even heard of it. I was like, oh, that looks good. Yeah.
So I get influenced by ads. I would definitely go see more movies in the theater if we get all like, let's go see that in the theater, and then like I just put in the chat, I'm like, oh God, it's 2 hours and 20 minutes. We're going to be gone for 3 hours. It's 7 p.m. I got to work tomorrow. I'm like, nah. So I definitely, because at home I could start it at 6 if I wanted to, or watch it in parts, which I'm not great at starting it and then stopping it and doing it the next day. But it's nice to have that option. I mean, it took me, what was the movie last year or 2 years ago with Leonardo DiCaprio and Robert De Niro? And the Native American woman won the best actor.
Killers of the Flower Moon.
Yeah. That thing took me 4 sittings to get through.
That was so long.
Yeah. So that, like, thank God I didn't see that in the movie theater.
Yeah.
And to John's point, I didn't watch that because Jim told us that they made the male perspective more of the lead than the book. And I want to see what the book was like. I don't need to see Leo be the star of the show.
The book was great.
Yeah. The book is actually a nonfiction book too, so it's. I mean, I see a lot of movies in the movie theater, and I do for various reasons. I mean, I base on movies that they're reviewed. I try to see a mix of different kinds of movies. I definitely do try to see movies that I think are strong contenders to be nominated in the major Oscar categories. I'm definitely very conscious of that. I try to see some of the big popular movies, although I try to avoid seeing too many, but I see some occasional of the franchise films. I don't see very many of them, but I do see some of them just to sort of get a flavor for what they are.
Jim,
it depends on the actors I like or the directors or something interesting or somebody had something to say about it. So I see them for a lot of different reasons. And I do tend to look at them very analytically. But I will say that there's a difference between what I think are the best movies and what are my favorite movies. Like, there are movies that I think are very good that I never rewatch because, they're very good movies. I'm just not that much of a fan of them personally.
But very good
there are movies
like
that I don't think
what?
I could defend as being good, but I watch them because.
Well, but Jim, explain what you mean by good. Like, you mean like moves the art forward or something?
This is not a movie, but I've watched every season of Virgin River, but I certainly couldn't say that I think it's a good show. And
it started out good.
I've watched every episode of NCIS, and it's not a bad show, but I certainly don't think it's like one of the greatest television shows of all time.
Would you watch a film purely based on the director because you liked the director but didn't like the story?
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
I would do that too.
It doesn't even matter that I like the director. If the director is considered important, even if I don't like their films, generally, I will usually go see the film.
Because
I will do that.
Directors are considered important. I'm not a fan of Quentin Tarantino, although I think he's very talented. I'm an anti-fan of his work, essentially.
You were always that way, Jim, from the beginning? Because I flipped.
I think his best movie was his first one. I think Reservoir Dogs was his best movie, and I thought Pulp Fiction was okay, but overpraised, and I thought that's where he started to go awry with his, shuffling the order of the story. Like, that was some brilliant thing to do, and it, was meaningless as far as I was concerned. And then his movies have gotten, I won't say necessarily progressively worse, but they're pretty bad, I think, in general. I mean, he's very talented. I don't know if you guys remember the movie Inglourious Bastards, but it starts with a really amazing, absolutely brilliant scene of Christoph Waltz playing a Nazi
Brad
and
Pitt's in it, isn't it?
going to this house where they're hiding a person. And it's an absolutely brilliant scene, which lasts for quite a bit of time. And you think, wow, this is great. And then the rest of the movie, except for a few exceptions, is just junk.
Mhm.
I mean, it's just, him being a brat, him like sticking his thumb in people's eyes, I just, he's been indulged and coddled by the industry and by certain people.
And how much was
transgressive?
Jim, how much of his arrogant Oscar speech was weighs
Say what?
upon your opinion? How much was his arrogant Oscar speech that one time he gave that ridiculous, Oscar?
Well, he's only won one Oscar. That was for the screenplay of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. But again, that's that movie basically is a fantasy about, macho white males, defending these women against Charles Manson. I mean, it's so horrible.
Yeah.
And
I stopped
he's so
watching him
overloaded
after Kill
with that
Bill
stuff.
1.
It's just terrible. Huh?
I stopped watching him after Kill Bill 1. I just was over his whole...
Yeah. Kill Bill 1 and 2 are actually not among the worst of his movies, but they're
Right.
not very good. But
When I lived in France, he was a god, and it was there's a French cinema thing where like people in Paris go into movies like they definitely think they're seeing like the best of the American, the really artistic stuff, and he was a god, and I fell for a lot of that.
Also
and now
like Jean-Luc Godard, and I put him in the same category.
Yeah,
I mean, he makes these. I mean, he is absolutely brilliant. There are scenes in his movie you say, "Oh my God, this guy's brilliant," but rather than use that brilliance to make a good movie, he's more concerned about being transgressive, like poking his fingers in people's eyes, and instead of worried in that, rather than actually making a coherent and quote entertaining movie. And I mean, I get that, and I mean, look, I do see a fair number of movies. Not as much as professional critics do.
Barely.
And I get why this happens, but I do think because they see so many movies, professional critics overrate the value of novelty.
So let's go around the horn and hear who everybody thinks is going to win.
Well, win what? We're
Best
not going to
Picture.
list every single one, right?
I don't know, the big ones: Best Actor, Best Actress, Best Picture, Best Director. I don't know.
Okay, I'll start.
Do the top six.
Top six.
The 4 acting categories: Best Picture, Best Director.
Okay, I'll start and I'll be brief. I picked Best Picture, Sentimental Value. I picked Ethan Hawke for Blue Moon. I picked Stellan Skarsgård for Sentimental Value for Supporting Actor. I picked Jessie Buckley for Hamnet. And I picked Inga Ibsdottir Lilas for Sentimental Value for for Supporting Actress. I picked Chloe Zhao for Hamnet. I picked Sentimental Value for original screenplay, and I picked Hamnet for adapted screenplay. I picked Sinners for cinematography. I picked Frankenstein for makeup. I picked Frankenstein for costume. I don't know any of the songs, but I picked original score for Hamnet. Production design, I picked Frankenstein. Is that enough of the highlights?
Awesome. I love it.
Good.
Shelly.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, Shelly, go.
Oh, Beth, whatever.
I picked Sinners for Best Picture, Michael B. Jordan for actor, supporting actor Stella Skarsgård, for leading actress Kate Hudson. I love that one. Supporting actress Tiana Taylor, director Paul Thomas Anderson, original screenplay Blue Moon. For cinematography, I put Train Dreams. For adaptive screenplay, I put Frankenstein. For live action or animated short, I put Retirement Plans. For sound,
I did too.
I put F1, visual effects, Avatar, and makeup, Frankenstein. I put Golden also for the original song.
Is that Golden from K-pop Demon Hunters?
Yes.
Oh my gosh! The little kids love that song. That's the only thing I know because it's what kids listen to.
Exactly.
They love that song. That's the song of the day. It's unbelievable.
Jim's muted again.
Oh, Jim's gone. Shoot.
I can't
Beth,
hear you.
You go.
Okay, so even though Shelly did not share her ballot with us ahead of time, Shelly and I had a lot of similarities. So I have Sinners as Best Picture, Michael B. Jordan as actor. I put Jacob Elordi, I don't know how you say his name, for Frankenstein for supporting actor. Jessie Buckley for actress. Tiana Taylor for supporting actress. Chloe Zhao for director. Original screenplay, I put Sinners. And again, I put it over Blue Moon, partly because I saw Blue Moon as well, but partly because I want to, among our listeners, I want to send my strong vote for Sinners and what Ryan Coogler accomplished in that. Screenplay.
Who's Ryan Coogler? Which one was he? He's the director?
Of Sinners, yeah.
Okay.
Adapted screenplay, Hamnet. Cinematography, Sinners. That one was really hard because the movies were so visually different, and so it was hard to pick that, but I just went with that. International feature, I was blown away by it. It was just an accident. So and everything going on, the fact that it was secretly filmed in Iran, it moved me in ways. It probably would have been moving to me before all the stuff that's going on right now, but it was stunning. I did not see K-pop Demon Hunters, but I picked that for feature because I think it's going to win. And same as the song. And film editing, I put Sinners, but also a second vote for F1 because the way they spliced in all the real Formula One races into the movie, maybe that's easy to do. I don't know, but I was impressed.
It's not easy to do.
And then animated short, I said this also in our thread, I picked Butterfly. I didn't, it was a different approach. All the animated shorts had much different styles, but I thought the story in that would tug on the voting members' hearts, and that will win.
Good.
Jim.
Well, I still think One Battle After Another is going to win. Like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if Sinners pulls the upset. I picked Timothée Chalamet, so I'll stick with that. Although, again, I wouldn't be surprised if Michael B. Jordan wins. I think Jessie Buckley's pretty much a lock for Best Actress. I think Sean Penn is going to win for Best Supporting Actor. I think the closest race, the most wide open race, I would say, among the top awards is for Best Supporting Actress. It's considered a three-way race between the woman from Sinners, whose name I can't remember, and Tiana Taylor from One Battle After Another, again from Weapons, and I think Amy Madigan will win. Paul Thomas Anderson, I think, will win Best Director. The two screenplay awards be split between Sinners and One Battle After Another. Frankenstein, as I said, will win the three: craft, makeup, costume design, production design. I think Sentimental Value win Best International Feature, but I think actually The Secret Agent could pull an upset there. I think K-pop will win Best Animated and Best Song. Score will go to Sinners. I think Casting, which is a new Academy Award category, will go to Sinners. I think Cinematography and Film Editing will go to One Battle After Another. If Sinners wins the film editing, that might be a sign that Sinners, early in the podcast, depending on when they give out an award, that could be a sign that Sinners is going to pull the upset.
Wumi Mosaku? Is Wumi Mosaku
Best documentary feature, I think it will be The Perfect Neighbor. There's a couple of entries that I think should have been nominated, but they seem to be shying away from documentaries that are based around stars, as in famous people. I thought that Mariska Hargitay's documentary about her mother, my mom, Jane, about her mother, Jane Mansfield, was very good. And I thought Ben Stiller's documentary about his parents, Stiller and Mira, was very good. And they didn't get nominated.
Yeah, okay. It's like, what are the next?
You missed that
I
one,
think
Shelly.
the shorts will be won by Butterfly. I think Beth's right about that. I think Two People Trading Saliva will win the best live action short, although I think it's terrible. And I think the best documentary short will go to All Rooms. I don't know what I've left out. Oh, I think F1 will win best sound, and Avatar, whatever it is, number 9 or 12 or 15, will win best visual effects. I think that's everything.
Nice.
A lot of overlap.
Nice.
Among
all right.
all
Well, this is going to get out before. So those of you who are listening to this prior to the actual Oscars.
One thing. Did anybody see my question in the chat? I think the in memoriam segment is going to be really long and like bring a tear. There's so many people who died.
Cheer or a
so
tear?
many people.
A tear.
Okay.
Tear.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I think
so
you're
many
right.
people who died last year. Big
Yeah, and
people.
you're right. I'm wondering about the war comments too.
Yeah, I hope they aren't any. Just don't.
Well, it'll be hard if everybody does it, and
I
it'll
know.
take forever. So I noticed that they put a kibosh on that a little bit for the Golden Globes. Instead, people could wear a pin or something. So
I mean, I'm sure the impulse would be strong if you have a public platform to say something, and obviously people have their own feelings about things, but it's not a particularly good forum to have a considered critique of the world. If you want to say something like, we wish for peace, I think that's
As simple as that.
To actually get into a complicated analysis of politics or what's going on, it seems like that's not the right place for it. Although if you're Adrian Brody, apparently you get as much time as you want to say whatever you want. So.
He's a man.
So do we have to see him now? He gives out the Best Actor award this year? Is that how it works?
Traditionally, that's what happens. He'll get out either Best Actor or Best Actress, depending on how they're doing it. That's traditionally what the case is. Although he has made a commercial making fun of himself for giving such a long speech.
Yeah, no, that was funny.
Yeah.
So that's something to be said in his behalf. But
all right, we might do a follow-up episode. This is so much fun that we have to go. But Shelly, take us home.
Well, thanks for joining us for In Search of an Argument, where the opinions are strong, the facts are little, occasionally
weak,
cooperative, weak, take liberties with the truth, and the debates are always lively. I want to give a big thanks to my brilliant co-hosts, Jim, John, Beth, Peggy, for bringing their insights, their wit, their personality, their perspectives, and occasionally totally unnecessary tangents. But that's what makes the podcast so fun to do with all of you. You all, our audience, we welcome feedback, comments. You can find us on any of your usual places where you like to look for podcasts. And yes, we even have some offerings on Patreon, because apparently some people are willing to pay to hear us talk
no one's willing to
about
pay yet,
nothing.
but we're hoping.
So please welcome, and we look forward to all of your comments and your disagreements with our projections.
Thanks a lot. Bye, everybody.
Okay.
Bye.